So, hello students. Today I have to discuss the types of inflation and its causes, and also the difference between demand pull inflation and cost pull inflation. So, what is demand pull inflation? Demand pull inflation is asserted to arise whether aggregate demand in an economy outpaces aggregate supply. So, it involves inflation rising as real gross domestic product rises and unemployment falls as the economy moves along Phillips curve. So now you have to see in demand pull inflation two things here, two important things. One is aggregate demand here, another is your aggregate supply. So both the things, right? Demand and supply we already discussed, right? So it depends upon aggregate demand and aggregate supply. Means what number of demand will be there. If a single person can create a demand, that is called a demand of individual. But when a group of person will be created demand, that is to be known as aggregate demand, just like an aggregate supply also in that way. So this commonly describe too much money chasing too few words. In other words, if you have to say these things, demand pull inflation. In other words, you have to suggest then this is called also too much money chasing too few goods. Means what? In each and every people have a huge amount of money, but thing is that goods is available in the market very limited. You have a huge amount of money, but goods is not available in the market. That is the reason. Alternately, we have to see the too much money chasing too few goods. So now you have to see these things. We have to clear this concept in this diagram. You see y-axis it signifies to output and y-axis it signifies to price level. Now you see initially it is to be OQ level of output and the price is to be fixed, that is to be OP level of price. So OP and OQ intersect this price and demand, intersect the point that is called equilibrium point that we already discussed in the earlier classes, equilibrium point. That's why it signifies to E. In the sense demand curve, this is D dash demand curve, this S dash demand curve, right? So here demand and supply curve intersect in a particular point that is to be known as what? Equilibrium point. Here you have to signify as E in the sense what? Equilibrium. Okay. So now when you to price you see here, then the quantity we have to increase from Q to Q1, right? When quantity will be increased, at that time price is also increased simultaneously, that is to be P to P1, right? Initially it is to be price P, but now it is to be P1 price is also increased, and there is another point is to be created, that is also equilibrium point, because as we know that when demand curve intersect with the supply curve, that means what? Equilibrium point will be created, that is to be known as E1, right? Now price will be again increased from P1 to P2, right? But there is no output will be increased. Demand is not increased here. Here the output is constant. In P1 level, output is whatever the output are there, Q1, and in P2 level, that much the output is there also. That is to be Q1 also. So here the equilibrium point E1, because in each section there is equilibrium point is created. In P1 also demand curve intersect with the supply curve, that is the E1, and in P2 also demand curve intersect the your supply curve, that is E2 also. But difference is here what happen in OP level of output, your OQ level of output, OP level of price. Here the price is P and the output is your Q and equilibrium point is PE. But what happened P to P1, when price will be increased from P to P1, at that time quantities also increase from Q to Q1. But after that there is no chances to raise the quantity, it is the constant Q1. But here the price will be rise, that is to be P1 to P2. So that is the segment from E1 to E2, that is your what? Inflation position, right? This is demand pull inflation, because demand will be there, market demand will be there. So what will be happen? Suppose market demand will be, that we already discussed in the earlier classes, in inflation plot. What will be happen? Suppose your company, suppose a company will be there, suppose 200 units tire. A company, you can say the example, a company will be produced 200 tires on the daily basis, right? If the demand will be maximum in the market, then what happen? Now, at the particular moment of time, if the demand will be maximum in the market, but your output, you have to utilize the maximum sources. Here the point U1, right? Maximum output. In the sense what? Maximum sources. You have to utilize the maximum sources. More than that, it is not possible. That's why the output is not to be increased. Up to Q1, it is to be increased. After that, it is not increased because you have to utilize the maximum resources. After that, it is not possible. So that suppose 200 tires a tire company produce on the daily basis. If the demand of the market will be maximum one, in the sense purchasing power of the consumer will be maximum one. At that time, what happened? They suppose required 250 pieces of tires on the daily basis. They require. So at that time, to maintain the demand supply figure, what happened? Now you have to definitely suppose the in 200 when you have to produced when the tire company earlier produced 200 tires on the daily basis, suppose the price will be 10,000, right? So now it is to be demanded on 250 pieces of tires. When it is to be 250 pieces of tire, but the chances is not there, 50 is extra, where it is to be collected. So that what happened, to maintain the demand supply, the company has to raise its price in the sense 10,000 to 12,000, let's say. So that what happened, automatically the demand will be balanced with the price. So that is the reason we can say there is no chances of output here. Output will be the constant figure, but your price will be high because demand pull, due to demand your price will be pull, right? That's why this figure is known as your demand pull inflation, this position from E1 to E2. So why the demand pull inflation created? In the sense of causes of demand pull inflation. Why? Due to what reason your demand pull inflation will be uh, occur? Increase in money supply. Increase in money supply in the sense what? If the money supply will be maximum, in the sense money in the market will be maximum. Each and every people has a huge amount of money. Stock of the money among the different categories of people, among the individual will be maximum. Then definitely they have to purchase maximum. When they purchase the goods, at the time shortage of goods in the market will be there. So inflation is automatically created. Then come to increase in public expenditure. If the money will be there, if the availability of the money of the people among the public will be maximum, then definitely they have to make expenditure because money created for expenditure for the day-to-day demand. It may be a consumer goods, it may be a industrial goods, it may be a luxurious goods, whatever may be the types of goods are there, they have to purchase because public expenditure is the ultimate things. That is the reason we can say increase in public expenditure. When the public expenditure will be maximum, at that time demand pull inflation will be created. Next come to is your increase in population. As we know that India is the second largest populated country in the world, right? When the population will be increased here, definitely to maintain the population, the people here increase in the sense what? They are automatically in the day-to-day operation, their expenditure level, they are requiring goods will be increased also. When they have to require the goods, they definitely purchase. At that time demand of the market of the different types of goods will be increased. So when the demand of the prices will be increased, automatically the price will be increased. That is to be that is to be known as your inflation will be demand for inflation will be created. Then increase in export due to undervaluation of currency. Undervaluation of currency in the sense generally the worldwide, basically you can say dollar is the ultimate exchange money, right? So that is the reason we should. So when the export due to undervaluation of currency, when currency value will be reduced, at the same it increase exports. In the sense we have to collected different goods from outside country. When the different goods of the outside country will be maximum, at that time increasing power of the people will be maximum. The people will be utilize maximum goods, so that your demand is automatically in demand pull inflation will be automatically created. This is all about your causes of demand pull inflation. Next come to your causes of cost push inflation. First we will discuss what is cost push inflation, then its diagrammatic representation, its causes also. So cost push inflation, what is cost push inflation? It occurs when overall prices increase due to increase in the cost of wages and raw materials, right? Cost push inflation ultimately it is known as supply shock. Supply side supply side, this is demand side. Your demand pull inflation in the demand side, but in cost push inflation it is supply side. So What is cost push? It occurs when overall prices increase. Overall prices of the product will be increased due to increase in the cost, in the sense where the demand of the, where the goods price will be increased. Whatever maybe the goods are there available in the market, when it is increased, either it may be increased due to cost of wages, either it may be increased due to raw materials, right? So this, all these are the reason, all these are the ingredients due to which your prices of the product will be increased. When the prices of the product will be increased, at that time cost push inflation will be raised. So higher cost of production can decrease the aggregate supply in the economy. So that is aggregate demand, here is aggregate supply, right? So since the demand for goods hasn't changed, demand of the goods is not changed, only the price is changed of the goods, price is changed. So the price increase from production are passed into consumers. So you have to see this diagram, this concept cost of push inflation will be analyzed in this diagram. You see y-axis, it signifies to output, this signifies to output, same concept y-axis, it signifies to price level, right? So now when that you see here, when your q level of output is there, at that time OQ level of price, OQ level of output is there, OP level of price is there. And both the points you have to see here, D dash demand curve and SS dash supply curve intersect a particular point, that is to be known as what, equilibrium point, or ultimately it is to be termed as E, right? So that point is known as equilibrium. So now come to when you see your demand of the goods in the market will be reduced, that from Q to Q1 it is reduced. But when demand of the goods will be reduced, at the time you see price, what happen, price will be increased, price will be increased due to that demand of the goods will be reduced. So here the supply curve and demand curve intersect another point, that is to be E1. From this position to this position, this is your what, your supply side, that's why cost push inflation will be created. So what are the causes are there, means what are the reason for which your cost push inflation will be created? The different causes are there. The first one is your cost of production, right? Cost of production in the sense what, the ingredients that are used to produce the product, if the cost of production will be raised, definitely your cost push inflation will be there. Cost of production in the sense it may be a raw materials, it may be a wages, it may be a taxes, different taxes position also, due to which the cost of production will rise, and it will create in the cost push inflation. Then higher wages are there. If the wages you have to pay to the labor class people maximum, then definitely the cost of the product will be also increase, and that will be create your cost push inflation. And higher profit, there are sometimes what happen, the producer wants to making profit higher. So when he is to making profit higher, at the time his cost of the product will be raised. Automatically when the cost of the product will be raised, so the demand will be reduced in the market, which will create the cost push inflation. Then come to higher taxes also. Sometimes what happens, government is also collected tax from the different goods, that from indirect taxes. So it will be increase the cost of the product, and due to that also the price will be raised of the product. So when the price will be raised of the product in the market, at that time demand will be your reduced. That is the reason, all these are the reason by which your cost push inflation will be created. So now we have to discuss the difference between demand pull inflation and cost push inflation, the concept how to, and right. So difference between demand pull inflation and cost push inflation. So demand pull inflation, one column, another column is cost push inflation. So now demand pull inflation, now see, this arised due to higher demand for goods and services over availability of supply, because your demand of goods is depend upon the availability of supply, right? This arises due to higher demand will be higher because it is demand side. Your demand pull inflation depend upon demand side. That is the reason we can say here the higher demand for goods services over the available of supply. Supply is fixed here, but demand will be maximum. So automatically it will be impact to the price, right? And here cost push inflation, it is price rise due to increase in input cost. Input cost in the sense what? Those are required to prepare the product. If that cost will be arise, that cost will be more one, then definitely price of the product will be more one, right? So it is supply side also. The input cost example is your raw material, wages, profit margins, all this. Profit margin in the sense producer sometimes extended its profit, in the sense is expected maximum profit within a stipulated time, and wages is also maximum. When raw materials price will be maximum, this will be effect to the price of the product. Then come to demand pull second. The higher the demand can be due to increase in income of people. If the income of the people will be maximum, then definitely they have to purchase maximum product from the market, different categories of product from the market, right? From daily goods, consumer goods to consumer goods now changes into luxurious goods also, and increase in money supply also, change the in taste, because as you know each and every people taste is different, and change in taste their demand is also different. Today we require a television, we suppose 32 inch in LED LCD, now it is to be LED also in 60 inches, because as you know our preferences tested will be different, changes, then automatically the demand of the product will be changes also, and due to that also demand for inflation. Then this is called supply shows. This can be due to technological and stagnation and higher crucial input cost also. Example is your what in case of demand pull inflation, that is example it includes international crude oil price crashed since 2014 due to reduced demand as other alternatives were available, and vice versa. But here is example includes crude oil also price going up due to reduced oil supply by OPEC, the organization of petroleum in India, since mid 2017. This is due to sanctions and other prices also, right? This is all about your difference between demand push inflation and cost push inflation. Thank you.